Hey, Dina here. Been a while, hasn't it? You might notice my background is different. That's because I have I have a new computer and it's set on a new desk and it's all set up downstairs because I can't go upstairs right now. And well, I'm sure you saw the title of the I'm sure you saw the title card, so you probably know what this is going to be about. Sorry for any of you who don't follow me on Twitter or even Facebook. You might have no clue that this happened. I guess I could have done one of those, oh, I can't think of what it's called, but when you like make a post, you know, instead of uploading a video, you can make a post and it's all text. And I guess I could have made one of those to tell people what happened, but my last video I uploaded was a very short vlog letting everybody know I was okay and everything was fine because I hadn't streamed in a while. And about 3 or 4 days after that, either way it was on the 13th of May, I was in a car accident and I just kind of have been wanting to do a vlog just kind of telling, just sort of kind of going over what that was like and what happened, and I don't know, it's kind of just for my own record, I guess. I don't know. Frankly, so little happens to me normally that I never have any interesting stories to tell, so I guess in a weird way I'm sort of glad I have one now. Anyway, so yeah, May 13th, which was on a Wednesday. I was on my way to work as usual. I was driving, I was listening to my local classic rock station, which was playing Winds of Change by the Scorpions, and I wish that was a joke, but it's not. Gotta love irony. So yeah, I just, you know, pulled out of the parking lot, went down, turned left like I always do, turned onto, I guess I could say the name of the street. It's not like you all know exactly where I live. Basically, I was on Redacted, on the way to Redacted, and about halfway down the street to Redacted, and I just looked away for, I think, just a second. I think I was reading the speed limit sign, because I'm always glancing at those to make sure I'm not going over the speed limit. And I don't know, I just looked away for a second. I looked back and there's this fucking car coming right at me. Actually, what was it? No, it was a car. I was thinking it was a truck for some reason. It was a car. Basically somebody was driving on the wrong side of the road. I learned later, I don't remember where I heard this. I think I read a official report of the accident somewhere, and it said that apparently she was fiddling with the radio. So anyway, I look up, I see this car, I barely have time to start screaming no before I slam on the brakes, and it was too late because the thing was right up like a split second from hitting me once I looked up. But I obviously tried to brake anyway, slammed on the brakes, and I don't remember the impact. I feel like I blacked out for a second during the impact. Like I mentally blacked out. I didn't hit my head or anything, but it's weird because I don't remember the impact. I remember Tara. Oh my god, of course Tara's gotta be here. Come here, silly girl. Yeah, I saw this car coming at me and I'm braking, and I just next thing I know, the airbags are deployed. I look around and I see that the airbags are deployed and there's, smoke coming out of the hood of the car, and my leg and chest hurt really bad. I actually thought, I thought there was a fracture in my chest. It hurt so bad. I'd never broken a bone, so I didn't know what it felt like. A little embarrassing in retrospect, but I was alone and I was scared and I just started screaming. This is me, literally. I'm almost laughing about it in retrospect because it's a little embarrassing, but seriously, I would just, oh, my air conditioner just came on. That's gonna be great. This is gonna be a great quality video. But yeah, I don't know what to do because I can't move. My first thought is to maybe grab my maybe get my cell phone and call my husband or something, but like my purse had slid off the seat next to me and was on the floor, and I was afraid to reach it because my leg and my chest hurt really bad. I was feeling like I shouldn't move my arms. I felt like I couldn't move my arms or my hands, like they felt... I think I was just really tense because there was no injuries in my hands or my arms, but I think I must have just been really tense because I felt like I couldn't move. And I just started screaming. This is me. I literally went, "Ah! Ah! Ah!" I'm literally doing that in my car, and when I'm between screams, I hear the lady in the other car doing it too. And I thought, oh shit, I hope she's okay. And so apparently she was all right because she got out of her car and went up to my window, and she tried to, it's funny, she tried to talk to me from the passenger side window. I'm like, I can't reach that. Come over here. So she came to the driver's side window and she was like, are you okay? And I'm like, I don't know, my chest hurts and my leg hurts. And she goes, my chest hurts too. And that was the last I saw of her. Boy, it was literally a disaster. Like, well, I'll later on I'll explain the damage in my car and I'll show you a picture of it. But yeah, I didn't know what to do because, like, normally I would have reached for my cell phone and called my husband or called 911 or something, but I was afraid to because it was on the floor next to me and I didn't know if I could reach that far. Again, my arms are hurting and I feel like I can't move them, and just like everything hurts and I don't know what's going on. Ironically, like, with all that screaming, even though I was screaming in the beginning, I actually didn't cry. I somehow kept it together enough that I wasn't crying, but God, I was in so much pain. I was just like, oh, it hurts. I was doing that a lot. And, three different people tried to help me. Only one of them really succeeded in doing anything, that actually did help, but three people try to help me. That's what I try to take away from this. I know it might sound a little corny or whatever, but like, one person hit me, but three people tried to help me. So something to keep in mind, maybe. Like, you know, it seems like you know, no matter what bad things happen, the majority of people are good. I like to try to keep that in mind. But anyway, so like, one guy comes up to me and people were like, you know, wanting to come up to the car and stuff, so I opened the door. And this guy was like, he said, ma'am, can you get out of the car? And I'm like, I don't think so, my leg might be broken. And he's like, ma'am, I really think you should get out of the car because there's smoke coming out of the engine. And I said, and I tried to shift my leg a little bit, and I noticed my foot was moving around a little too easily. I finally looked down and, like, here's how your ankle bone is, right? Like, the bone, well, actually, it's like this. Like, here's the, not the femur. I can't think of what bone this is, the ulna or the radius. I might be thinking of the arm bones. I forgot my anatomy. I used to know all the bones. But anyway, you know, it's like you have this leg bone and it goes like this. I found out later that this piece and this piece had basically broken off, and it was like that. Like this is my ankle, this is my leg bone. It was like that. And it was like, I could look down and I could see that it was, you know, that bump there, and I could see that my ankle had been dislocated. And boy, that's an experience I would not wish on my worst enemy. There's just, I don't even know how to explain what it's like to look down and at your own dislocated bone. That is some fucked up body horror shit, man. I experienced real life body horror. So yeah, that was a thing. So I'm like, I actually pointed to my ankle and I'm like, my leg's broken, I cannot get out of the car. And he looked at it and went, oh shit. Or he didn't say shit probably, but he was like, oh, okay. At least turn off your engine because there's smoke coming out. That was actually the first time he mentioned the smoke. I'm sorry, I'm remembering this wrong now. And so I didn't even think about my engine still being on, so I turned it off. Slight tangent. I really wanted to make this video right after it happened while it was fresh in my memory, but for various reasons I didn't, mainly the fact that I had no computer downstairs. But anyway, so that happened, and another guy brought me a blanket, and so to like make sure I wouldn't go into shock, which was really nice, but I really didn't need it. It was I live in California, where it's I mean, at the time, like it was May, so it wasn't like the middle of the summer, but it was like hot in the afternoon, but just cold enough in the morning that you needed a sweater. So, and I was just like, due to the stress and everything, I was so fucking hot. I wished I could have taken my sweater off. So, yeah, so I told him I didn't need the blanket. I told him, you know, I didn't hit my head or anything. And if anything, I'm really hot and I wish I could take off the sweater. So I'll be fine in that respect. And apparently he put it in the car anyway. I don't remember him doing that because we found it in the car later. Then, a lady, I remember her first name. It was Jessica, because that was the name of my first cat, coincidentally. And, so she was actually the most helpful. She said, do you want to call your husband? And I'm like, the phone's on the floor somewhere. I don't think I can get it. I don't know if I can move. And she asked, well, would you like me to call him and get your phone and call him? And I really appreciated that. So yeah, she called Lee and she had him on speakerphone, and he was so worried, poor thing. But in fact, she, skipping ahead for a second, she actually drove him to the hospital, so that was so great. Like, I'm sure you're not watching, but if you are, thank you so much. You were so much help that day. But yeah, that was great that she did that. I don't know who she was. I kind of almost wonder if she was like some kind of social worker or something, because she seemed like she seemed to know how to talk to me and what to do. But anyway, yeah, shortly, I guess somebody must, I don't know what happens when there's an accident. I guess one of the onlookers, because there were a whole bunch of onlookers, only 3 of them actually talked to me, but there were various onlookers, and I guess one of them must have called 911 at some point. So an ambulance showed up, and it's interesting what they do if you can't walk. They have this, I think it's plastic, like it's solid plastic, and it's like a board, and what they did was they had me kind of put all my weight on my left foot and kind of lift myself up, and they put this board under my rear end, and they had me kind of lay down on it and kind of push myself along a little bit with my good leg, and they like slid me onto this thing and into the ambulance, and boy, that's an interesting experience, just that whole thing. I know some I think a police officer had me sign something. I barely remember. All I remember is that I could barely hold the pencil because my hand was all like messed up. Again, no injuries there. I think I was just really tense. Yeah, they put me in the ambulance, just asked me various questions. I don't want to get too much into the boring stuff. But they gave me a shot of something that would help with the pain, because I was actually shaking with pain. I've never been in enough pain to actually be shaking, and that was quite an experience. Actually, no, I don't think I was shaking yet. That happened later. But anyway, yeah, I was obviously in a lot of pain, and the first thing they did was I was wearing, because I was on my way to work, and it's an office job. Actually, we weren't really dressing up, but I was still wearing my dress shoes because I can slip out of them easily. So they took my shoes off and like cut the nylon stockings off my feet, and they cut up the legs of my pants a little bit. I guess it was so they could look at both legs or something. I don't remember why they did that, but they did. And they gave me a shot of something to kill the pain, and oh man, that was good stuff. Okay, the air conditioner just turned off. But man, it made my head really floaty, and I just have these vague memories of looking up and seeing all the lights on the ceiling of the ambulance. Excuse me. And it was like everything else was gone except for those lights, and I was just like, ugh. Man, it felt so good to not be in pain, though. The floaty feeling was actually kind of nice. It really like relaxed me, and I have vague memories of the guy asking me questions, and I had this weird feeling like I wasn't really there, And God, it's hard to explain, but man, I wonder what they gave me, because holy shit, that stuff was powerful. But yeah, I kicked in almost immediately. So they ended up taking me to UC Davis because that was the nearest hospital. I couldn't remember at the time what my insurance was, because under normal circumstances I don't really go to the doctor that much, and it's one of those things I kind of let Lee handle. So wasn't sure if my insurance was gonna cover it or not, but they took me to UC Davis because that was the nearest hospital. It's hard to relay some of this because I don't know what part of the hospital I was in a lot of the times, because, oh, I forgot to mention, before they put me in the ambulance, they put a neck brace on me, like, just in case. My neck wasn't really hurting. I was pretty sure I didn't have whiplash. I definitely didn't hit my head. I figured I was probably okay, but just to be safe, they put a neck brace on me. So, yeah, I couldn't look around. I was looking at the ceiling the whole time. And, they asked me a whole lot of questions. I guess before they give you any kind of drugs, they have to find out what your mental state is. And they asked me, one was like, have you ever felt like, one was, do you have any murderous impulses? And I because I was like, because I'm just one of those idiots who sometimes tells jokes when in a stressful situation. And they asked me, do you have any murderous impulses? I said, only against my boss. And then I immediately apologized. I'm like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be joking right now. But they laughed, so they didn't mind. But I'm sure I'm not the first person to make that joke anyway. Yeah, so they asked me all these questions, and I remember this was the point where I noticed I was shaking, and I was like, I honestly couldn't figure out if I was cold or if it was the pain causing me to shake. And they asked me, are you shaking because you're cold or because of the pain? And I'm like, As much as it hurt, the pain didn't seem bad enough for me to be shaking, but granted, I'd never been in enough pain to cause me to shake, so, you know, I told them, well, I'm not cold, so I guess it must be the pain. So, and yeah, this was the point where, it's a dumb thing to complain about, but like, they cut all my clothes off me, so I lost everything I was wearing. I happened to be wearing my Echo the Dolphin shirt that I wore on that Filmed In episode. I can always order another one. My phone just went off. I mean, I could always order another one, but yeah, I was wearing that, and I was wearing a sweater I really liked. It was a cardigan that was like black and white and kind of a speckly pattern. I liked that sweater a lot, and it was just something I would always throw on whenever it was cold in the morning, and they cut it off me, and they cut off everything, and it sucked. Yeah, I lost all of the clothes I was wearing that day. I guess I knew that they did that when during emergency medical situations, but yeah, obviously first time I ever actually experienced it. So everything that happened after that, immediately after that, is kind of fuzzy. Basically, I got tons of x-rays and MRIs because they, you know, have to. They x-rayed and MRI'd me everywhere. I got a CT scan, which I think is the same thing as a CAT scan. I got a CT scan of like, I think they didn't do all of me for that. I think they just x-rayed like my head and my chest, because again, I was in so much pain in my chest. I really thought something was broken there, and of course my leg. It's pretty obvious my leg was broken. Anyway, I think after all that was when they finally kind of put me in a room, and then they let Lee in there, and I got to see him, and that was great. Never been happier to see him in my life. Oh, this was where... What was the term for this guy? I don't think he was an orthopedic surgeon, but he was in orthopedics, and, he reset the bones while I was conscious. They did give me something for the pain because the thing they gave me in the ambulance had worn off, and then at some point they gave me something again, and I think he actually injected it directly into my leg. So I didn't feel it as much as I would have otherwise, but yeah, I was awake while they reset all the bones in my foot, and I could feel it, and oh my god. The screaming I did in the car when I had the accident was like nothing compared to this. I was just screaming the entire time. And yeah, the guy reset the bones in my foot. And God, at one point I could actually hear it crack. Sorry if any of you have weak stomachs and don't like hearing about this, but maybe I should have warned you ahead of time. I'll put timestamps or something like that. But yeah, so that happened. He reset the bones in my foot and wrapped it up, and the plan was for me to go into surgery that evening, and that didn't quite happen, so I ended up being in a room. I actually got really lucky because I did have a roommate, but thank God she was quiet, and I didn't talk to her much. I'm not very social. It seemed like maybe she wasn't either, but I did talk to her a little bit, like right before she left, and she was actually really nice. But yeah, she was quiet, and she wasn't someone I didn't get stuck with, like, not to be insensitive, but I didn't get stuck with anyone with dementia or anything like that. I remember at some point while I was in my room, like, someone would yell for help in the middle of the night, someone way down the hall, and all I could think of was, I'm so glad I'm not in the room with that person. But getting a little ahead of myself. It took a while, but basically what happened was I ended up not having surgery that night. What ended up happening was I ended up being, including the day of the accident and including the day I got out, I was in the hospital for 4 days because I guess they had a lot of other patients that needed surgery, and they had trouble scheduling mine because it was actually kind of funny. They said, well, the good news and the bad news is that they've set they set your foot really well. They set all the bones really well. And the bad news is because of that, your surgery isn't as urgent now, so they kind of like ended up being put, down the list a bit. So I think they actually told me that apparently there were a lot of car accidents that day. I don't know why. It didn't rain or anything. There's nothing unusual about that day, but I guess coincidence. Winds of change, I don't know, whatever. There were a lot of car accidents that day, and I guess they had a lot of people to operate on. So yeah, it basically took, I think, probably, let's see, I'm pretty sure they didn't release me on the same day. I'm looking at the calendar. I had to mark it on my calendar because I'm so bad at remembering things like this. I think it was on the 15th or Friday. I was let into the hospital on Wednesday, and then, but yeah, it was always like, well, maybe they'll operate on you today. Maybe you'll have surgery today, so we can't give you any food. So it's like I'd spend the first half of the day not eating anything. Again, I didn't really have much of an appetite for the first couple days anyway. I expected this to be a lot longer than it probably will be because I really wanted to tell the story in all the gory detail and everything, but I just at this point, it happened 3 months ago, so it's a little hard to do that. Anyway, so yeah, and then, but at some point, usually by dinner, they could tell if they were gonna operate on me or not, and then they would end up giving me dinner at least, and I have to say, they're not paying me to say this, but, everyone talks about how bad hospital food is. UC Davis actually has really good food. Granted, I was on the keto diet at the time, and I didn't have time to cook, so a lot of times I was just having, before the accident, I was just having, things like a plate of meat and cheese and stuff for dinner, and I wasn't really having anything that... they were giving me things I would get a homemade burger and fries one night, and another night I got a chicken breast and a side of, I don't know, vegetables of some kind, and mashed potatoes, and this was really good stuff. This was not pre-made. I think there was a kitchen. There had to have been a kitchen there, and somebody was making this stuff. It was like having homemade meals. It was great. But yeah, that's the only good thing about my hospital stay. Was that the food was surprisingly good. Where was I? Yeah, they wheeled me into my room, and yeah, I talked about how every day they were hoping I would have surgery, and I didn't. And as I said, I think Friday was when I eventually had it, because Saturday was when I was released. So, boy, every time I've ever had surgery, it's been 3 times now. I had my wisdom teeth out. A couple of years ago, I had my gallbladder removed, and then there was this surgery. It's always like they take me into the OR, have me do whatever I need to do, like scoot onto another bed usually, and then they'll put a thing over my face, and then I'll blink and the surgery will be over and I'll be in the recovery room. Like, I don't even remember. Like, I know on TV they always put the thing on their face and it's like, okay, breathe deeply and count to 10 or whatever. I don't know if that... I don't know if any of that happens, because I've always been like, they take me into a room, they put the thing on my face, I blink and I'm in recovery. And I always have this moment of confusion where I'm like, did they do it? Did they actually do my surgery? I don't know. And I don't know. I don't know if that's like a normal reaction, but I always imagine they must find that amusing. Probably not. Maybe everybody's like that. But yeah. So I had my surgery, and they put, technically it was a splint, but it may as well have been a cast. They put a splint over my ankle, and they weren't sure if my knee was, they weren't sure if my kneecap was fractured or not. So they put, they didn't put any sort of cast or splint over my leg, but they put a brace. They put a leg brace over my knee so that I couldn't bend my leg at all. God, that sucked so bad. Another thing that was different for me than it always seems to be on TV is that people always seem to get crutches whenever they break a leg. They gave me a walker. And the guy told me, this is better than crutches. Trust me, you do not want to use crutches. Which I thought was interesting, because even on like reality shows and stuff where it's not, you know, like people always seem to use crutches. And I'm like, but I was given a walker. So whatever. But yeah, I had a walker I needed to use. Oh God, it was so hard using that walker at first because, you know, this is probably an obvious thing, but just so you know, you know, you grab onto the bars, and what you do is you sort of like lift yourself up every time you take a step. And you're like basically doing this every time you take a step. So you're not hopping around on your foot. It looks like you are, but you're putting most of the weight is being on your arms, and my upper body was in so much pain when I got home. My muscles were so sore from that. I forgot to mention, can you still see it? Maybe I'm imagining it. I feel like you can still see it a little bit, but yeah, what I thought was, I'm sorry, this is all, I'm just going backwards again, sorry. What I thought was maybe a fracture on my chest was literally just the seatbelt abrasion. Like, and it looked freaking terrible. I never take selfies, but I had to take a selfie for this one. Yeah, I took a selfie and I made a Twitter post saying, so how's your day going? And I posted a picture of myself laying in the hospital bed with this horrible freaking abrasion, it rubbed the skin off. Like there was like little scabs all over, and it was terrible, and it really hurt. And I had some bruising around my hips too from the lap belt. Oh my God, yeah, those seatbelts fuck you up, man. But it's funny, anytime I was in the hospital and I said to a nurse something to the effect of like, look what the seatbelt did to me, they would be like, they would wince and they'd be like, yeah, but good thing you were wearing it. And like I would think they would probably know, and it got me wondering about what kind of horrible things they've seen. But yeah, good thing I was wearing my seatbelt. Yikes. So yeah, for what ended up being 3 weeks, it was supposed to be 2 weeks. There was a service that was supposed to take me to my first appointment, and it's kind of like Uber, but they don't charge you for it. Your insurance covers it. And, you know, they have like wheelchair access, and they're people who I assume are trained to, you know, help patients. And they were supposed to take me to the appointment, and they asked me if I needed wheelchair access, and I thought that meant, are they going to supply a wheelchair? And I said yes. They ended up showing up to take me to my doctor's appointment with their vehicle with wheelchair access and no wheelchair. So I ended up having to go to my appointment a week late. So I had that stupid leg brace and splint on my leg for a week longer than I needed to, which sucked. Excuse me. So 3 weeks after they operated on me and put the splint on my leg, I went back, and I was surprised that they actually took the splint off. I thought it was going to be like a cast where I was going to have to wear it on my leg for like 3 months or something. But no, actually after 3 weeks they took it off. They cut it off me and everything, and they took off the leg brace, and I was able to bend my knee again after that, which, God, not being able to bend your knee is terrible. You are so fucking helpless. You can barely move. Like, sleeping was the worst. Like, it's so hard to get comfortable because I can't sleep on my back because I have scoliosis and back pain besides. So, like, I'm a side sleeper, and it's hard sleeping on your side when one of your legs is in a, there was the splint and then the brace, and just those things together, like, went, like, halfway up my thigh. And I couldn't bend my leg, and just, it was so hard being comfortable when trying to sleep. So that was the worst. But after that, they took all that off. Thank God. I was so relieved. They after that, I had to wear a boot, which I could take off at times. And in the beginning, I wore it a lot, but also at this point, they were telling me I should do exercises. So I started doing, for those who don't know, I do DDP yoga. It's sort of an offshoot of yoga that was invented by former wrestler Diamond Dallas Page, and it was made for, I think originally it was made for, injured wrestlers and just anyone who has an injury or, and it's for anybody really who, has been injured or is a beginner at exercise, or old people who have trouble getting around. It's sort of aimed at people like that, but there's different levels of it. And there's more advanced levels that are for people who are the more bodybuilder types. But like the lower levels are like, there's one there are some exercises you can do from a bed, and there are some that you can do from a chair. And I've been doing the chair ones. I started doing them pretty much as soon as I got my splint off, because I couldn't wait to start moving around a little bit. So I've been doing, it's called chair force. I've been doing the chair force exercises since then. And, but anyway, that's where I was there. I had, I would take my boot off for several hours a day, usually just kind of in the afternoon, and then I would put it on in the evening, and I would wear it to bed. But God, it was so uncomfortable, and it would get so hot and sweaty. I would take this thing off. The first time I took, I think it was the second time I took it off, because the first day I wore it, I obviously didn't wear it all day. The first evening, or the first day, I guess, when I took it off, it was wet on the inside. I'm like, how did it get wet? And I realized it's because it's so freaking hot and sweaty. I would sweat inside this thing, and I was having to spray it with like antibacterial spray to make sure it wouldn't stink or anything. It was awful. Like, I appreciate having the boot over having the splint. I do, but man, the boot sucked also. It just sucked a little less. And again, at least I could take it off. So I had another appointment with my orthopedic surgeon on July 17th, and that was when I told him what a pain the boot was. I was telling him how often I was wearing it, and I was hoping I could wear it even a little less, and he told me, you don't really have to wear it. If it's really bothering you, just don't wear it. And I'm like, cool, and that was the last time I wore it. So like July 17th, up to my appointment was, I think, the last time I wore that stupid boot. So, actually, it's August 22nd, so it's like been just over a month since I stopped wearing that stupid ass boot. I actually need to take a little break because I am almost out of water and my throat's really tired. I'm almost done here, but I'm gonna go and refill this glass really quick. Okay, so I'm back from my little break, which I edited out, but it's a good thing I did that because I forgot kind of the most important thing. When I saw the doctor on July 17th and I got to take the boot off, that was actually when he told me I could start putting weight on my foot, which, oh boy, that was definitely good news. I was still using the walker, but I was able to actually, walk while using it. I didn't have to hop around. So yeah, I've been actually getting up and walking around. I'm able to walk without the walker now. I am having a problem where I've got swelling in my ankle, and that's kind of bad. I was taking, I was already on blood thinners due to the fact that, I wasn't able to get up and move around much, and so to make sure I didn't get any blood clots in my legs. Oh, I didn't talk about this fun part. They gave me a box of syringes so that I could stick myself in either side of the stomach every day so I could shoot myself up with blood thinners. So that actually was not as bad as I thought it would be. Like, it's scary to think of sticking yourself with a needle if you've never done it before, but it wasn't that bad, actually. The only thing that sucked was, like, after I did it enough and I got to where I was getting to the end of the supply there, I started developing a big bruise on one side, and I was like, where am I gonna put the needle? I'm not gonna stick it in this bruise. It started to hurt by that point, but fortunately my primary care physician prescribed some blood thinners in pill form, so I've been taking those. And anyway, what I was originally going to get at is he had me stay on the blood thinners just in case, because I've got my ankle is swollen, and it's possible it could be due to a blood clot. So he's keeping me on blood thinners just for now until until my orthopedic surgeon says that I'm doing well enough that I don't need them anymore, or something to that effect. But anyway, until further notice, I have to stay on blood thinners. So I can't drink alcohol, because I looked this up on the internet. I'm like, does alcohol interact with blood thinners? And because I'd just be nice to have a drink once in a while. But yeah, actually, apparently I didn't know this, but apparently alcohol actually thins your blood a little bit. So if you're on blood thinners while you drink, if you drink alcohol while you're on blood thinners, it could theoretically thin out your blood too much, and it could cause like spontaneous bleeding and stuff like that. So yeah, can't drink right now. Otherwise I would be having a celebratory drink about getting my computer set up down here finally. Yeah, so I am still on blood thinners, and I have some swelling in my ankle. It is kind of painful, especially on days where I try to do too much. I've been pretty couch bound for the past 3 months, and it's making me crazy. I'm not really that much of an active person, but I still am used to doing things for myself, and not being able to do that has been rough. So I now that I'm able to walk, I walk with a limp. I'm not walking well. It's still painful, and oh god. Another picture I need to put up, I need to show you guys, is my right leg when it was in the cast, or when it was in the splint. The muscles like shriveled up into nothing. I had no muscles in my lower leg. It's like, talk about body horror. The body horror just never ends with this situation. But like, yeah, and it's especially weird for me because I'm one of those people. I hit the genetic lottery in the sense that I've always had these really thick calf muscles. Even if I'm not working out at all, I've just always had these really developed calf muscles. But and like right now it's only on the left leg. My right leg looks like a chicken leg. And I've been trying to exercise it as best I can to try to build the muscle back up, but man, it's taken a while. But I do have a picture I took so I could show you guys what my right leg looks like compared to my left leg. And I believe I also took a picture of the incision. There's no blood or anything. It was healed to the point where it was just kind of a scar. It's not gross or anything. But yeah, and I'll put that image up too. Damn it, I keep jumping around. Well, like I said, I'm getting towards the end now. Yeah, ankle is swollen and it's kind of painful, and I'm still on blood thinners. So I'm not out of the woods yet completely. I'm starting to walk. I'm able to walk pretty well, but I limp. If I like set my mind to it, I can walk fairly normally, but I can't walk too far because, again, the muscles aren't very well developed right now, and it's difficult to walk. So yeah, I am trying to walk more. I'm trying to build the muscle back up, get used to walking. I'm not ready to go back to work just yet. I feel like I need another month, and I'm a little bit nervous right now because in a week I was supposed to see my orthopedic surgeon again, and I was going to ask him if he could, make it so that I could go another week on. I'm on disability. I didn't mention that, but I've been on disability because I can't work right now. And I need to see my orthopedic surgeon next week. I was supposed to see him next week, but there's some issue with my insurance, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to see him, so I'm not sure what's gonna happen. My disability is going to run out in a couple weeks, so I have a couple weeks to see him, and it's probably another couple weeks before I would have gotten my next payment, so I guess I still have a few weeks to see him. My primary care physician is supposed to be sending them I keep forgetting what it's called. A referral. My primary care physician needs to send a referral to my orthopedic surgeon so that I can make an appointment with him, so my insurance will cover it. And that's right, I mentioned something to that effect earlier. Insurance. Insurance is a bitch when you're American. I should say medical care in general is a bitch when you're an American, because there's all these, you have to have insurance, and there's all these issues with it, and some things are covered by the insurance and some aren't. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm hoping I'll be able to see my orthopedic surgeon again soon because my disability is going to run out. I forget the exact date, but it's the beginning-ish of September. I forget, but it's before the 10th. It's like the first week or two of September it's gonna run out, so I'm not ready to go back to work yet. It hurts too much when I walk, and I just don't think I can do it. I'm trying to find a work from home job. I did have a job when the accident happened. I was on the way to work after all. But I'm not sure what's happening with that. I haven't talked to my boss in a long time, and last time I did, she told me to take my time getting better because there was no business. I work for a bankruptcy attorney, and if you don't know, when you file for bankruptcy, it's not as if you're not telling everybody you're broke and you don't have to pay any bills or anything. You have to, filing for bankruptcy costs you because you have to pay the lawyer. First of all, you have to pay the attorney, and then you have to pay the court like every month for however long. So what's happening now with COVID and people being unable to work is that people aren't able to file for bankruptcy because they can't afford to file for bankruptcy. So that's how that works, if you didn't know. And so nobody's filing for bankruptcy, so last I heard there were no new clients, and we were running out of work to do, and I believe my coworker got let go, and I don't know if it's because of something she did or because of lack of work, but I was really surprised my boss didn't contact me after that to see how I was doing, because I figured she needed somebody working for her, and she hasn't contacted me, so I'm guessing there's probably no work to do there. So even once I am ready to go back to work, I don't know if I'll be going back to my last job or not. I kind of don't want to be honest. But anyway, I prefer to find something else. Now that I have my computer set up down here, I'm kind of hoping maybe I can find a work from home job, but I don't know. So anyway, that's where I'm at. The good news is that, like I said, I have a desk and a new computer here. My old computer actually died shortly before the accident, like a few days before it, I think. A couple days before it, I think. So that was weird timing. But yeah, it took a while for Lee to get around to building me a computer, and we had to build me a desk. The problem is that, like, Lee has health problems too, so he wasn't easily able to build me a desk either, so we kind of did it together, and it was a very slow process. But everything's set up now. I hope to get back to, like I said, I don't know what's going to happen if I run out of unemployment. I might have to go back to work soon. I hope that doesn't happen. I'd rather not go back to work when my leg is still hurting. But anyway, hopefully I'll have another month before I have to go back to work. Maybe I can actually put out some content during that time. If nothing else, at least I can stream again, and I hope to do that again soon. I'm thinking maybe Sunday or maybe like early next week. We'll see. I mean, I don't have to limit it to the weekends. I probably get more views on the weekends, but I can really do it anytime now that I'm home all the time. So yeah, that's where I'm at now. I think that's everything. Yeah, I mean, there are some details I could have mentioned regarding my recovery and the accident and all that stuff, but I don't want to go back at this point. If I thought of it at the time, I would have mentioned it. They're not interesting enough to go back and mention after the fact. So, hey, I thought of a few things I forgot to mention, and I don't feel like filming myself again. So yeah, here we go. First of all, I didn't think to talk about my car. It was this beat up little white station wagon. I thought it'd be really kind of fun to just kind of talk about that for a second, because it's sort of funny. It has a bit of an origin story. My mom used to have a huge station wagon, and this big clunky station wagon, and she hated driving it because it was so big that it was difficult to park, and she used to call it the Titanic. So she eventually got a smaller white station wagon, which would eventually become my car that I crashed 3 months ago. Anyway, she got this smaller white car, and we called it the Iceberg because it's smaller, it's white, and it sunk the Titanic in a sense. So yeah, we called my car, or what became my car, we called it the Iceberg. Well, it was completely totaled in the accident. There was no saving that car. So the Iceberg is probably an ice cube by now. I'm funny. Okay, so what else? So poor Lee had to take care of everything while I was recovering, and he actually went out and got us a new car. And here's the picture he sent of it before he took it home. I love that there was a bow on it, and I asked if we could keep the bow, and he said no. Okay, okay, and I think the final thing is, believe it or not, money has not been an issue during this time. Not only has Lee, due to COVID and people getting paid more for unemployment, we were doing pretty well before the accident, but I actually got a pretty nice settlement from my insurance company, so believe it or not, this is like it took a freaking car crash, but we've actually been doing pretty well on money. We've actually got a pretty nice little amount stashed in our bank account right now. There we go. One good thing came out of this. We actually were financially pretty goddamn stable for a while. And it's probably going to start dwindling soon due to Lee is still on unemployment, and they're going to, I think the extra payment amount ended, so he's going to be getting paid less, and I don't know what's going to happen with my disability. So yeah, one last thing. People were asking me in the beginning if I planned on suing the driver who crashed into me, and due to getting a settlement from my insurance, we decided not to, because we don't need the money, and it just would have been a big hassle for probably no reward. We got the impression that she probably didn't have a lot of money, and she didn't even have insurance, so yeah. I think that was everything I needed to say. Okay, back to the part I filmed earlier. Yeah, I think I'm done. I'm actually recording this on August 22nd, which is Lee's birthday, so everybody wish Lee a belated happy birthday. I haven't had any of his cake or ice cream yet because I wanted to wait until after I filmed, so I'm gonna go have some cake and ice cream. I hope everybody's doing really well. I probably should have said this in the beginning. I'm sorry. I was raised by wolves. I don't know how to talk to people. I hope everybody's doing well with lockdown and everything. Oh, does everybody like my lockdown hair? I was letting my hair grow out before the accident, I was letting my hair go out, and my plan was to try to see how long I could get it, and I was just hoping to get it trimmed occasionally, just getting the split ends cut off so I could see how long it could get. And then the accident happened, and I had all this long hair, and it was getting in the way all the time, and I just like, I told Lee to get me a pair of scissors, and I just cut it straight across the bottom. I basically gave myself a bob. I didn't like how it looked at first. I think maybe now that it's grown out a bit, I think it looks pretty good. I think I did a pretty good job. But yeah, here's my lockdown hair. I know a lot of people are having problems with there not being any salons open, so a lot of people are having to cut their own hair. So here's mine. Like I said, I think I did an okay job. I miss having long hair, but what are you gonna do? Oh, there was one thing. It's not too far back. At the end of July, finally got around to getting a... Well, at the end of July, I got to the point where I was able to go up the stairs. It was difficult, but I could do it. And I bought a shower stool. So I was finally able to shower again. That's something I didn't mention. I wasn't able to shower for like 2 months. That really sucked. I mean, I cleaned myself as best I could, obviously, but yeah. I was not able to shower, and I'm someone who really likes their showers. I used to shower twice a day. Haven't been doing that now. Now it's once a day, but yeah, I bought a shower stool, and on day 3 it broke. I brought the cheapest stool I could find on Amazon, which was really stupid. So I found I'm actually able to shower standing up, but it's kind of hard on my ankle. After a little while, I was able to find a nice sturdy plastic chair that we could put in the shower, and I've been showering every morning, and oh, it's so nice. I can't believe I went so long without showering. Holy crap. Anyway, okay, I think I'm really done for now. I think I'm really done for good now. I'm gonna go have some cake and ice cream. I hope you guys are doing really well with lockdown and everything. I hope you guys are able to work, or if you're not able to work, I hope you're able to get some kind of compensation. I hope you're all doing well and you're not going too crazy. Yeah, 2020 has been a shit year. Like, you know, on top of the usual stuff, on top of the stuff everyone else has to deal with, like, I had my poor cat, I had to have one of my cats put down in January. That was Luna. You guys probably know about that. And of course there was my car accident, and like, I live in California, so now my state's on fire again. So 2020 is really a shit year, but you know. So I hope you all are doing all right. You know, we'll get through this. I always sound so corny, but I don't know what else to say. So I think that's it for now. See you next time when I stream, or whatever videos I'm able to put out soon. That's it for now. See you next time.